the Army. Left, 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 right, left. Pacifism is not passive. It is an active principle of nonviolence seeking to do no harm. Joan Baez. September 1990. The 6 months of work on the kibbutz came to a close, and our seed was enlisted in the army. Felix stayed on the kibbutz, and we talked about seeing each other whenever I had a weekend off. The Nahal Basic Training Program lasted 3 months. We received 2 uniforms, one for travel and the other for the base, but there were limited visits home during basic training. Officers led us in marches around the base shouting instructions. Left, left, Laney don't dance. Left, 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 right, left. I hated synchronizing with the others. This marching is so boring. When are we going to eat? They're torturing me. I'm so tired already. I want to rest my feet. I moaned in my head, which didn't make the time go any faster. Eating was my favorite moment in the day, besides sleeping. We sat in a mess hall with big tables. I relished this pleasure, sitting down to eat whipped white cheese, similar to cream cheese, but lighter and less sweet. The first weekend off, I met Felix in Beersheba, and we stayed with his family. His parents were from Morocco and immigrated to Israel in the 50s, when they felt it was no longer safe for them as Jews to continue living there. They lived a simple life without many luxuries, and they took me in as if I were their daughter. I went to the store to buy a pair of street shoes to wear with my city uniform, but my feet were much thinner than the local Israeli women, and I bought them a size smaller than my normal size. Don't worry, the saleswoman said. They're leather. They will stretch. After the weekend, back at the base, we lined up, but the officer seemed edgy, and I was worried that perhaps she had had a bad weekend. In a booming voice, she yelled out, "Everyone, pick up your bags, run around the building, up to the 3rd floor, and get back down here in line in 2 minutes with your bags. Now go." And we all ran. Ouch, ouch, my toes, the stupid store lady. I told her the shoes were too small, I groaned to myself. We lined up again, but the officer didn't look any happier. "Go again," she bellowed, and we started to run around the building carrying our bags. "What's with her today?" I asked the girl running next to me. "My shoes are too small. My feet can't take this," I moaned out loud to anyone who would listen. Up 3 flights of stairs, down 3 flights of stairs. I continued to groan in my head. When will this end? I was running with my toes so scrunched up in my shoes, I felt like a Japanese geisha girl dragging my army bag on the ground behind me. At the end of the 2nd round, I started limping from the pain, losing count of the rounds. Finally, we were permitted to change into our training clothes. Back in the room, I gingerly removed my new shoes. Why did I listen to that sales lady? I asked myself. I looked at the cuts on my toes. I'd rather walk barefoot, I thought. Next was shooting practice. We meticulously disassembled and cleaned our rifles, a routine that clashed with my pacifist ideals. I didn't join the army to shoot a gun, I moaned. My joining the army had primarily been driven by a desire to be respected among the local peers. Every young person in Israel had to go into the army at the age of 18, so I believed that if I didn't go, I would always feel different from the rest of the population. I didn't see any other way that I could gain their respect. We took turns guarding the base, and the struggle to get up was real. I never wanted to leave my bunk. We guarded as a pair, and my bunkmate had to shake me in order for me to get up. Nothing was more challenging than standing outside for 2 hours in the middle of the night and then attempting to go back to sleep for an hour, sometimes less. The fatigue during basic training was so intense that I could fall asleep in any situation. As basic training neared its end, we were granted a weekend off. On the day of our return, we were instructed to meet at a concert hall in town near the base. While most of the others were there to enjoy a music concert, for me it was a much-needed opportunity to catch up on sleep. I laid my head on the seat of the chair while sitting on the floor and fell asleep with the music blaring loudly. 2 hours later, when it was time to wake up and head back to the base, I felt refreshed and the most rested I had felt in months. During basic training, we spent all our time within the foreigner seed. My persistent complaints managed to reach the higher echelons on the base, resulting in a rare opportunity. We secured a meeting with the head commander of the Army base, a rare occurrence for soldiers at our level. During the meeting, we voiced our individual desires. One requested to go to secretarial school. Another aspired to become a combat exercise coach. The third aimed for officer training certification, and I requested going to the medic academy. The outcome was favorable for me, and instead of continuing our Army service together, our seed was disbanded at the end of basic training. Nice knowing you and good luck. We parted ways without sentimental goodbyes. Once the group broke up, I decided it wasn't appropriate to remain living on the kibbutz in the south. The weight of my decision to leave the kibbutz pressed heavily on me, especially knowing that it was time to say goodbye to Felix. Despite my deep affection for him, his addiction had become too much to bear. I moved back into the little studio apartment with Kate while she finished basic training. My heart broke in pieces when Felix's mother called me, her tearful plea echoing through the phone. "Please don't leave us," she begged. "I can't come back," I choked out, tears streaming down my face while I held the telephone. "I have to go now," I told her, and I hung up the phone. I finally accepted the fact that I couldn't save him. His family had looked to me as their savior, and I felt as though I had failed them all. As agonizing as it was, I had no choice but to walk away. I hadn't been living in Jerusalem very long when Kate and I found another kibbutz through the Adopt a Soldier program, and together we moved to Kibbutz Hamadia in the north, near a town called Beit Shan. Living in a new place where there were no reminders of him, I was able to close the chapter on my relationship with Felix. As adopted soldiers, we were assigned families, and it was our obligation to visit them on our weekends off the base. I wasn't happy about being forced to visit a family that didn't share any of my interests. They were a quiet young couple with a young baby, and not the type of people with whom I wanted to spend my 36 hours leave. The adoption agreement stated that we were expected to visit our families every weekend when we came home. "Why do I have to go spend Friday night with them?" I complained to Kate. "These people would be better for you. They're too calm for me. Will you meet me at the party after?" I asked her. "Nah, I just got a new book," she said excitedly. Kate rarely came with me to the Friday and Saturday night socials, preferring to stay home and read. "All right, I will go alone then," I said. I took the initiative and decided to choose a family that suited me better. In my mind, I was sticking to the rules and fulfilling my obligation to the kibbutz. I chose to spend time with a very large, warm and friendly American woman married to an Israeli man. They had 4 fun and good-looking boys who were in the army like me. I felt like I was part of a big Israeli family, but still retaining the American mom. It was my dream family. The kibbutz manager didn't agree with my decision, which caused me problems with the administration. Stupid rules. This family is much more to my liking. I am going to continue to visit them on the weekends. I had hoped for a little more consideration from the people running the adoption program. Kate and I stayed close despite our busy army schedules, only seeing each other on weekends until she went back to South Africa for a visit. Soldiers living alone could return to their home country for a month each year, but I was surprised when Kate came back with a boyfriend. He moved in to live with us and worked on the kibbutz, and after that, our relationship shifted. "He's moving in with us?" I asked Kate, taken by surprise. "Yes, now you'll be sleeping on the couch," she replied. So just like that, I found myself relocated to the living room. I loved Kate like my family, but her boyfriend seemed irritated with me most of the time, and Kate became absent from our relationship. One time I came home to find my personal photographs of friends and family shredded to pieces. I confronted him. "Why did you rip up my pictures?" "You didn't clean up your stuff before you left for the week," he told me arrogantly in his South African slur. I looked at Kate for support, only to find her looking down, silent and unsupportive. My 20th birthday in the Army marked a turning point in my relationship with Kate when she gifted me a self-help book, Tools to Learn How to Improve Yourself, and a note on the inside of the book that said, "You can do it." Do what? I wondered. This had come to me out of nowhere. It's because of that stupid boyfriend who influences her. On that very day, I flung the book away with a dismissive gesture. I was adamant in my refusal to admit the necessity for transformation. Unaware of the scars that obstructed my view and too young to recognize the profound truth that I was lost and in desperate need of healing and salvation.